Hi, beauties. Yesterday, I spent 5 hours and 37 minutes engaging with customer service representatives for the airline that I use to begin my travels abroad. I have been fighting for my money, my refund, for the last 2 months and 16 days. 5 hours and 30. Good news is they ran me my money, as they entirely should have. But I woke up this morning still feeling the residual frustration, anger, and all the tension. So I want to engage in a grounding practice and I wanted to invite you to join me. So I'm going to do a guided massage, and I love doing this practice because it really helps me release tension, to be curious about any residual emotions, and to also investigate and do an inventory if there's anything else I need to do to tend to what's coming up for me or what's still present. So to do this, I'm going to use some shea butter, period. And then I'm going to mix in some lavender oil because for me, lavender oil, it's usually a tie between lavender oil and eucalyptus oil that feels really soothing and calming for me. So I'm going to mix that in. If you want to pause the video here to grab whether you have shea butter or if there's like a lotion or something that you want to use to help facilitate this guided massage, then please feel free to pause and come join me back here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the shea butter, and that was more than a little bit, a little less. I'm gonna take a little bit of the shea butter and just warm it up in my hands. And this is gonna be the beginning of my self massage because my hands also carry a lot of tension. And I'm gonna really drop into the warmth that I'm creating by rubbing my hands together and really drop into the sensation of the shea butter melting in my hands. So I'm becoming more and more present in my body as I do this. Once I have it, rubbed in a bit, so my hands are nice and moisturized, but also it's warm to a temperature that's going to feel really soothing to me. I'm just going to take my lavender oil and just do like half a drop, like very little, not too much, but just so I have that added sense that's going to be involved with the sense of smell. And I'm going to gently massage that in. Okay, I feel good already. I already feel it. So good. So I'm going to expand this to my hands and I'm going to begin my guided self massage with my hands and really work through all of the little muscles from my wrists all the way to the tips of my fingers. And as I do this, I'm intentionally massaging with an energy of compassion and an energy of just allowing whatever needs to be to be. Yesterday was a lot. It was the culmination of 2 months and 16 days of fighting for funds that I worked very hard for and that was owed to me. And a lot of different emotions came up in that process. And so I am just tending to my body with compassion, with understanding, but also with curiosity. If there's anything else that my body needs to process or release, I'm creating that safe space for myself. Good. So I'm going into the wrists a little bit more. I'm going to move my sleeves back so I can get into my wrists and my forearms. And if at any point in time you feel like you need to add some more lotion or shea butter or whatever you're using, feel free to do that. If you feel like you want to adjust the essential oil, if you're using an essential oil, feel free to do that too. If I could find my eucalyptus oil, I probably would do a mixture of the two, but I'm not sure where I packed it. I know I have some. But I'm going to stick with the lavender oil and the shea butter for today. So I'm really working through my forearms. If you work on a computer and do a lot of typing, you might really feel some tension in this part. But again, this is less about trying to fix anything, and it's more about really infusing a sense of compassion into my body through the sense of touch and through being very intentional about coming to myself and caring for myself after going through, a frustrating experience and recognizing that I deserve care after that. Good. Good. So I'm noticing after massaging into these parts of my body that my shoulders are working. And I think they're working because they're pretty activated still from all that I went through yesterday. So I'm going to bring my attention to that part of my body. And this is how I like to do my self massages. I like to be aware of any part of my body that starts communicating that it has a need and it needs support, and then changing my focus to tend to that part of the body. So I'm going to be aware of my mic and I'm going to come to just do some investigation, my shoulders and my neck. Okay. I'm going to actually start. I'm going to start my jawline. So if you would like to join me in that, feel free. And I re-upped on some of the shea butter and the lavender oil so that this will be a nice smooth massage guiding across my skin. And I'm just going to tend to the fine muscles along my jawline. And as I do this, I'm just internally thinking, I'm inviting you to release. I'm inviting you to relax. I know I did a lot of talking and explaining yesterday. And now I'm just inviting my body to let go of that strength and the way that I had to present myself to get the need met, to get what I knew I deserved, to get what was rightfully mine. But now I'm allowing my body to come back to a state of relaxation and ease. I'm going to tend to some of the finer muscles behind my ears, because all of this is intertwined and connected. Sometimes I do start directly with my shoulders, but I do find that when I start my self massage up here, when my shoulders are activated and tight, I recognize how interconnected they are and how tending to these fine muscles along my jawline, starting at the nape of my neck, and then working my way down, I feel a really nice release from that. So again, we're not changing anything. We are just exploring with compassion and curiosity. Those are my two favorite C's. Compassion and curiosity. It's really an exploration and it's an invitation. And as I do this, I like to be very mindful of my breath. I'm not engaging in any particular breath exercise, but I am just trying to keep my breath nice and deep so that my inhales and exhales are supporting this release of any tension that I need to let go of as I go through this process. Okay. Yeah, this left side is really responding. I'm going to come over to the right side. Sometimes when I find spots that are a little more tender, I'll definitely change how much pressure I'm applying, because again, this is not about fixing or making anything immediately go away. This is just tending to what my body is communicating and what it needs. But when I come to those tender spots, I like to take a moment to do a nice deep belly breath. And by belly breath, I mean I send my inhale all the way to the lowest part of my belly. And I imagine myself filling up with oxygen, starting from there all the way up. And then when I exhale, I think of pushing out the air all the way until my lower belly is deflated. Yeah, I have a spot right here that feels like it's very responsive to that. Nice. So I'm just noticing my shoulders are feeling like they're really releasing, they're really relaxing, they're coming back to a state of ease, and that feels really nice. But I am noticing that I have some stuff happening here. So that's where I'm going to go next. It's like a little scavenger hunt, you know? It's a scavenger hunt, but it's also a beautiful communication with my body. And what I find is the more that I open up this sense of curiosity to my body and I respond to what my body is asking for, the more it'll speak, the more signals it'll give, the more wisdom it'll provide. And so this is a nice practice to also strengthen that. So, yes, I feel the forehead. And my body said, you're probably going to mess up your laid edges because that's what I need. So my edges may not be laid by the end of the self massage. So here we go. But this is where I need some tending to. So I'm going to tend to this part of my body here. For this part, I put a little extra lavender oil since I'm closer to my nose. So I can really enjoy that scent as I'm inviting compassion and curiosity. Oh, the nasal passage. Yeah, the sinuses. All of this feels really nice to be massaged. And I'm not going in any particular pattern. Sometimes I like to engage in like a circular. Sometimes I might find a spot that benefits from just like a sustained holding. And then sometimes I'll work from like a small point and work my way out. Again, it's all very intuitive. And the more that you are following what your body is communicating that it needs, the more you'll find a practice that really sustains and supports what you need. And in a way that's really grounding. But yeah, I'm finding that doing these nice big circles, that's releasing a lot for me. I'm going to reverse the circle and see what that feels like. Yeah, that feels like a different release. It feels nice, feels supportive. I'm going to open this up to my full face and just do some swirls and figure eights all along my face, all the way to my jawline. And as I do this, I'm noticing the space where my neck ends and in my upper back, it's communicating. So I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna support my arms so I'm not using too much muscles right now. It's more about releasing than waking up certain muscle groups. And I'm just gonna tend to this part right where my neck ends and my upper back begins. And I feel those muscles. Oh, I found a spot. So now I'm gonna do a deep belly breath here. Just invite it. Just invite it to let go. Yeah, I've really responded to that. Good. I'm going to connect that to my neck. And let's try out the other side. Make sure you can still hear me on the mic. Okay. Yeah, no, this left side is speaking. So I'm tending to this with lots of compassion and curiosity, and I'm going to do the same thing with a deep belly breath on this side. There it goes. Wow. Yeah, that really responded well to that. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a shake. Oh, some neck rolls feels good. So if you'd like to engage in that with me, feel free. To help the blood to really get nice and flowing into this part of our body. That feels nice. I'm going to try the other side. I'm going to continue to connect to my breath. Good. I'm going to do some shoulder rolls to, again, allow my muscles to kind of massage that little part that's where my neck ends and where my upper back begins that we just massaged. Continuing to support it with lots of breath. Let's reverse it. Get those muscles in the front that we tended to. Good. And now after that, I'm just going to do just a brief inventory and notice how I feel. Just check in. Just notice any sensations that come up, any other communications that my body might be saying to me. And my body is communicating that to finish this, I feel like my hands need some tenderness again. They just did a lot of work. They did a lot of work yesterday, typing to customer service representatives. But now they just did some more work tending to these different parts of my body and massaging. So I'm going to come back to my hands. And as I come back to my hands, I just feel the urge to remind myself that I am capable of creating art. I am capable of creating community. I am capable of tending to my needs and creating whatever I need for that to be tended to. I am capable of creating experiences that support my needs being met. I guess just I am capable. That's what I feel like I really want to massage into my hands. And I really want to remind myself after those 5 hours and 37 minutes. I'm capable. That was something that was playing in the background that was stressful. And I definitely recognize that at points in that process, I felt helpless. I felt like my power was being diminished. At times, I felt like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out a solution for this and I'm going to get tended to the way that I deserve to be tended to. But I'm releasing all of that today, and I'm just coming back to the reminder that I am capable. I'm going to take in the scent of the lavender oil one last time. And I'm going to stop here. I feel nice and grounded. I feel much calmer. I feel the tension released from my body. I feel much more free. And I hope this practice, this grounding practice, this guided self massage was also useful for you. So if you enjoyed it, please feel free to like, to subscribe, and to also comment and let me know what this experience was like for you. I would love to hear from you, and I hope to see you in the next video.